Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Veronica Miller and this is Goodwill, Minnesota's Good News, where we share with you the good that's happening in our community. And there is a lot of good, and we have a lot of good people on the show today. Actually, fabulous people on the show, and we're going to talk about fabulous things. But I want to remind everyone, when you donate or shop, you're helping Goodwill provide jobs in our community. And because of that, we are able to present this commercial with our wonderful sponsors. So thank you. So today's show, again, I'm very excited. We have Representative Greg Stuebe, who will be speaking to us, and also CJ Bannister, Director of Veterans Affairs for Goodwill, Minnesota, and Margie Dawson, who is with Turning Points and talking about fabulous events that are coming up. And it's funny because, as you can see, CJ's in the hot seat, so you're going to be kind of like my co-host today.
Sweet.
I know. I decided to tell you at the last minute.
Oh, thanks.
Oh, not a problem. Not a problem. So, again, we're very excited to have you on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Representative Greg Stuebe, who is also a Goodwill ambassador and very excited to be a major supporter for Goodwill. So thank you. And now let's talk about what's happening.
Well, we just got done with session on Friday, so last year was a very long year legislatively because we had 3 special sessions, we had a regular session, we had a bunch of committee weeks, so we were actually in Tallahassee last year 37 out of the 56 weeks, and then we rolled right into full session, started in January.
Wow.
So we just got done. We'll have a break from basically now until November when we'll go back up for org session, unless we have another special session, which I don't think we will, given it's a campaign year.
Now, I was pulling off your website. I should already know this, but you're on so many committees.
Yeah, most members get assigned to 5 committees, and as you get more senior, you'll chair different committees. So I chair one committee and vice chair another committee, but I still sit on 5.
So Highway and Waterway Safety Subcommittee.
So anything dealing with highway or waterway safety comes through the committee that I chair.
Excellent.
So anything from license plate, driver's license to waterway safety. We did some things with Eckerd College this year as it relates to them having some tactical, they go to the Skyway when people get injured and have that whole area there where they provide safety in our waterways.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then I sit on both of the healthcare subcommittees, which is interesting because I didn't have a healthcare background before I got elected, but every year I've been on a healthcare committee. So I have a pretty robust knowledge in the healthcare policy arena because you sit on these committees and they have all these presentations where ACA and Department of Health will come and present certain things to you. So anything from a healthcare policy standpoint I see and have seen for the last 4 years. And then I sit on the full appropriations committee. And this year, our budget's $82 billion, and we just passed that on Friday.
That's fabulous. Economic Affairs Committee, which is always important.
Yeah, Economic Affairs deals with transportation, highway safety, economic development, and anything from that area or arena would come through there. So highway, waterway safety, all the DOT packages, and anything of an economic development. So like film and tax incentives, those type of things come through that committee.
Wow. That is very exciting. And what I want everyone to know also is Greg, thank you for your service, is
Thanks.
a veteran from the Army. And we have a great picture.
Oh.
I hope you don't mind. I went through your website and found some wonderful pictures, and there you are.
Yeah, that picture is actually, it's kind of an interesting story because that's outside of, it's in Baghdad, but it's outside of the green zone, and the building that you can see to the right is the Central Criminal Court of Iraq. So I actually was involved in prosecuting detainees who attacked our service members in their own Iraqi judicial system.
Wow.
So I would run in we called them the detainee convoys. So I would fly down to Baghdad, pick up the folks that we were going to prosecute, and then we would take a convoy outside of the green zone to we call it the CCCI, the Central Criminal Court of Iraq, and actually prosecute Iraqi citizens who attacked American forces in an Iraqi judicial system. So I would actually present cases to an Iraqi judge. We would all have interpreters. We would all have different people we wanted to present evidence. And the Iraqi judicial system is very different than it is in the United States. And so it would, if the IJ, the investigative judge, would say guilty or not guilty, that's all he decided. There's no rules of evidence. It's not like it is in the American system. And then if he says yes, it moves forward, and then it goes to a 3-judge panel, which some people may be familiar with because that's how Saddam Hussein's trial went. And Saddam was actually tried and executed while I was in country.
Wow.
That was during that same time period.
Now, you're a lawyer by trade. Were you a lawyer then?
Yes.
Okay,
so I actually, September 11th happened my first semester of law school.
Wow.
And I decided to enlist as an infantryman, not use my degree. So I enlisted, went through basic training, officer candidate school, infantry officer basic course, and I got injured in ranger school, so I decided, because I was already a lawyer, to branch transfer from the infantry branch to the JAG branch. So I did about 1.5 years as an infantry officer and then about 3 years as a JAG. So when I was deployed, I was a JAG, and because of my infantry background, they put me in an infantry division. So I deployed with the 25th Infantry Division, and I was their chief of detainee operations when I was there.
Wow.
That's incredible.
That is.
I can't believe that I didn't know that. I was JAG when I was in the Air Force. Did you know that?
Yeah, I knew that.
As a paralegal there.
Yeah.
So, very neat.
Oh.
So thank you for your service.
Yeah,
That's
you
awesome.
too.
This is a whole patriotic, and we got the colors going. And then pink. But you
Yeah,
look
I messed
fabulous
it
in
up.
pink. Okay. That's fine. But yeah, I love your entire background. Is he not the all-American
Yes,
kid?
absolutely.
So, but
thanks.
what I love, okay, so you served your country, have a great education, but also when he was picking schools, to be diplomatic, you went to both of the major schools in Florida.
The only major school in Florida, the University of Florida. No, I did both undergrad and law school there.
Oh, both? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
They call it a double gator, so I'm a double gator.
double
So
gator.
I did law school and undergrad there.
Oh, it's just so funny because, they disbanded the football team at my college when I was there, Boston University. I was the mascot, yes. So I showed up at hockey games. It's all good. That's fabulous. And what I love too is you're all-star family man. So you
Thanks.
have a beautiful family, and I absolutely love your wife, who's also a Goodwill ambassador.
And she loves Goodwill.
And she loves Goodwill.
I would say
and we
most
love
of
her.
most of her outfits are from Goodwill. She's very good at spending, especially when I have to take my son back and forth. She'll spend 4 hours at the Goodwill on Honore shopping, and she loves it. So.
Oh,
Great.
And what she picks out, she's definitely, there's a picture of her, she's gorgeous, and your son.
Yeah, that's it. That's on the floor of the house at my desk in the Capitol, on the
Look
house
how
floor.
clean it is. Was it for the picture?
We actually don't. A lot of us don't, because everything's electronic now.
Oh, that's true.
So a lot of us don't have a lot of paper. Most of us either have a computer, or I use an iPad. Just you have your iPad on your desk, and there's not a lot of papers getting shuffled around because everything is electronic. And if you have ever had the opportunity to see the house floor, they redid all of the front panel for us. So when they bring up a bill, it's actually in front of you
Oh,
on
no
a
way.
huge TV screen.
This is totally different from.
And you're looking at bills and amendments because things are filed so quickly, you don't even have time for paper. So you're looking at them on your computer as amendments are being filed to bills and trying to track it that way.
Well, he's an environmentalist also, so that's what it's
Stay
showing.
green.
Go green.
But, and actually, I want to show the next picture because both you and Jennifer, look, they were in our 2015 campaign. That was that campaign, and it's fabulous. And you do have 5 dogs, so that image, correct?
Yeah, we actually have 6 now.
Oh, jeez.
You're missing
so
one.
wait,
in
one,
that.
two,
Yeah, there's only
three,
5 there. When we did that,
Oh, wow.
there was only 5. We have, well, he's a year old now. We have a year-old. He's a Catahoula, we've got 4 rescue Catahoulas. So 2 of them came from Honor Sanctuary off Lorraine, and then 2 of them came from the Sarasota Humane Society.
Oh, wow.
Just an all-American,
All
great
categories.
guy.
Yeah, again.
All the way around.
Is this not, but I want to show, this is very exciting for me. And I know every week we've been showing our 2016 I Support Goodwill campaign. But I want to take a minute because Greg donated his time to do a commercial for us. And
yeah.
actually, we are up for a Telly Award for this. So
so
I'm very
wonderful.
excited. So let's take a look at the PSA.
As a combat veteran, I support Goodwill because they help our veterans reintegrate back into the civilian workforce, and they create jobs in our community.
I love that.
That was cool.
Great job.
I know.
I had a good director.
Right, she is good.
Well, it was more with like everybody. It was like celebrity. He comes up and everyone wants to like gather around him. I'm like, get back. We're not ready for you yet.
Ward off the paparazzi.
Exactly. But oh, that's fabulous. So, and you've done so much for Goodwill. And when we were talking about our Veterans Task Force,
Yeah, and I would like to talk about, so for 2 years, I mean, CJ, you know, we've worked on a bill that really came from the task force. I mean, one of the problems that the task force identified was how do we get all this good information of services available in our community to veterans moving or
model it.
returning to this area. And, you know, really kind of putting all of our heads together. And then 3 years ago now, I guess, we passed a bill that allows you to put a V designation on your driver's license.
Which was incredible.
And
That
because the highway safety is underneath my, the Division of Highway Safety is underneath my committee, I thought, well, I talked to them, how are you getting the information? What are you doing with it? Well, we're not doing anything with it. So why don't we take that information, send it to the Department of Veterans Affairs, which we have a Veterans Affairs at the state level. They can push it down to each of the service offices, which every county has a service office. And then that information can be submitted to we put it in the statute, a third party, which Goodwill statewide has agreed to push out those pamphlets locally.
absolutely.
So now, and the bill actually passed last week. So now,
Fantastic.
yeah, it's on its way to the governor. And so now, once the governor signs it and it becomes law, anytime a veteran either renews his driver's license or moves to the state, that name and address will go to the Veterans Affairs, they'll go to the service offices, will go to a third party like Goodwill, who will send them information within a week or two of them arriving. So if the veteran has PTSD and needs to know where to get counseling, if he wants if he's blind and he wants a seeing eye dog, everything is in this guide to be able to give that. And for me, when I came back from Iraq, I didn't know where the DAV was, the VFW, even the local VA clinic, which I had the ability to use, but I didn't know where it was. So this will give them the resources that they need as soon as they move or come back to Florida, and I think that'll have a huge impact on young veterans coming back from these current wars.
Oh, absolutely. Talk about, CJ, if you want to talk about the resource guide.
So we do have a Veterans Resource Guide here that we give out to all of the veterans agencies, and of course any veteran that comes in our doors. We have it at every one of our job connections, all of our stores. The VA has them at Bay Pines in St. Pete. You name it, you can find it, and we're really excited to be able to get it in the hands of every veteran that comes to Florida. This resource guide is full of, just like Greg said, you know, places to go to get help, whether it's for your health care, whether it's for counseling services if you're suffering from PTSD, and your family members. If you are, you know, disabled and your disability checks haven't come out yet and you just got out of the military and you don't know where to go, there's help for that. There's American Legions, there's doctors, there's food pantries, you name it. Everything any veteran in need needs is in here.
And I love the fact that you saw this as a wonderful resource, and again, making sure that all veterans in our community
Yeah, now
have
there'll
the
be a
resources.
resource statewide and locally specific to that community of what's available in that community to veterans.
Yeah, and
That's
we're
great.
updating for the 2016. Almost done.
Cool.
That's awesome.
Excellent.
What else is happening on your horizon?
Well, I'll be running for the state senate, so now, basically from now until August, it'll be a race for the state senate. The state senate district encompasses all of Sarasota County and a portion of Charlotte County, the western portion of Charlotte County. So it'll be, I've been in the House 6 years, and so it'll be a transition hopefully into the Senate, and it's going to be a crowded race. We've got several in the primary, and a Democrat filed, I believe, last week or the week before. So it'll be a long, 6 months, but I'll try to work hard and do the best I can and hopefully be successful. And I hope that we can continue to have veterans in the legislature, because there's actually very few of us, and there's actually very few of us that are actually combat veterans. I think there's only 3 or 4 in the House.
Wow.
So to have elected officials who understand the needs of veterans in our community and having served and have that leadership background, I think is important, and it certainly sets me apart from the other people in the race that I have. And hopefully we can continue to make Florida, and I think it is now, the best state for veterans to live, work, and play.
I love that. So for your platform, what are you standing on?
Well, I mean, I'm a conservative Republican, so I obviously will stand on that. But one thing that I've always been supportive of is veterans issues because I'm a veteran. And like I said, there's so few of us. And it's really, even at the, this is the state level, but even at the national level, there lacks a big conversation because a lot of your elected officials have never actually put boots on the ground in a foreign country and served in combat. And you can't, in my opinion, you can't really espouse policy unless you know how that's going to affect the guys on the ground. And so whether it's a national or whether it's a statewide policy of how our soldiers are being treated when they come back, I think it's important to have that voice. And there's not many of them, certainly in this region. I think I'm the only veteran in Southwest Florida, one of the few that's serving in statewide policy.
Yeah. Jobs are so important, and then all this knowledge that you're getting from the healthcare aspect. I mean,
Yeah, and that's
vital.
why it's very hard, I think, to beat an incumbent because you gain so much institutional knowledge. I mean, I know so much about how to get an appropriation request and get it passed. I got a bunch of appropriation requests passed this year, how to get policy done, how to sponsor bills, how to move it through the process. And there's just an education that takes place. No matter how educated you are, it takes time for you to learn how the process works and to be able to be successful at the state and national level.
Wow. All right. Well, for everybody to learn more about Representative Greg Steube and his quest for the Senate, give your website.
It's electgregsteube.com. So www.electgregsteube.com.
And that's an E before you.
Yes.
I can't tell you how many emails bounce back. And I'm like, oh, geez, Smith. Anyway, I'm kidding.
Yep.
That's awesome. And I've been talking about the Veterans Task Force, and I know every week we kind of talk about our Veterans Services program for Goodwill, and I'm very excited that my colleague, Director of Veterans Services for Goodwill, is here. So, CJ, in a nutshell, talk about what Goodwill Veterans Services does.
Okay, well, first of all, of course, we have the Veterans Task Force, which I just want to start off by saying, Greg, I stand behind what you're doing. Thank you
Thanks.
for everything you've done for veterans. As a veteran myself, it means a lot to us, and it means a lot to me to be behind someone that is a veteran that cares about us. So,
Yes.
so thank you. That being said, our veterans program is just there for veterans that are in need. Whether it's you just came back from Iraq and you just got out of the military, Afghanistan, wherever you're serving, and you need help just finding a job, creating that resume. I actually have a great story about, when I got out, I had created a resume. I was a paralegal for the JAG. And I remember one of the attorneys called me and said, "Hey, CJ, we already filled our position, but I really liked your resume, except nobody else will understand it except someone who served. I was a JAG in the Army, so let me help you rewrite your resume." And so literally he was telling me to cross out things and use the proper terminology for the civilian world.
Right.
So it was really helpful for me. So we're able to do that to help veterans find jobs once they get out and reacclimate. We have 3 different programs really. We have the Veterans and Their Families program where we'll help whether it's a spouse or children of military members that are in need. We also have the HVRP, which is the Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program, and we also have SERVE, which is the Special Emergency Resource for Veterans. The SERVE program is actually for emergencies, and that was started because when I first came on board, I had a Marine walk through my door at 4:30 on a Friday night, and I'm not kidding, tall and proud, because every Marine walks tall and proud, and tears in his eyes, and he said, "I just got back from Iraq 3 months ago." He said, "I can't pay my power bill, and somebody said you can help me." He said, "I haven't gotten any disability checks, and I've got 2 kids at home and a wife, and I don't know what to do." So he's asking at the last minute because military members ask for, hardly ever ask for help. And it was one of those things where I got on the phone and I was calling these CEOs that I knew would step in and help. And I was like, "Can you help? Can you help us pay this bill? Can you da-da-da-da?" And so what ended up happening is we created SERVE, which is the emergency resource, so that we have a fund that is 100% tax deductible to the donor, and it doesn't help fund our program, it helps fund the emergency need of the veterans. So we've just got some great things going on at our veterans program and couldn't be more happy to help.
Yeah, and we also, unique things for veterans besides helping them find a job. Again, like if you were a gunner in the Army, how can you translate that into the civilian workforce? CJ and her group actually sit down and help So you are more employable and helps you find jobs, but also find services if you're not ready for employment just yet. And what I love too is that you also do yoga for veterans.
We have free yoga on Tuesday nights from 6 to 7 o'clock. Believe it or not, it's actually it's actually very therapeutic for those veterans that are suffering from PTSD or just trying to calm down from the effects of military life. So come join us at our university location. It's on University and Lockwood Ridge every Tuesday night.
And it's free. It's
free.
absolutely free for veterans, so that's awesome. And we were talking about the homeless program. So do you want to expand a little bit more on how we're helping veterans right now?
Would love to. The Homeless Veterans Reintegration Program is so important with the partnerships that we have in the community with Turning Points, JFCS, and things like that for our homeless veterans. The VA came up with a terminology called Functional Zero to help end homelessness for veterans. What Functional Zero is, though, is not eliminating it altogether, but what it means is that we've housed just as many as are homeless. And so we spend day after day working with them, not only to get them housed, but we work with them to get them rehabilitated. So we have funding from this DOL grant that allows us to put them through formal training, get them tools, get them haircuts, and whatever they need to get them back to work, and of course to help them find jobs.
That is so wonderful, so wonderful. And since we're talking about homelessness, our next guest, Margie, from Turning Points, it used to be called the Homeless Coalition.
Yes.
And now it's called Turning Points, which I think is fabulous because it's a more positive aspect. So talk about what's happening at Turning Points.
Sure. We do so much in the community, and thank you for your partnership with Goodwill. It's been fantastic. So Turning Points, we provide, facilitate, and coordinate services to men, women, and children who are homeless or at the risk of becoming homeless. And we do this through several programs. But first, let me tell you about the people that we do serve. Just last week, we had a family of 4 come into our facility, and this is a mom with 3 of her children. For the past 2 months, they have been living in their car. So they've been living in their car for 2 months. Every morning, she took them into Walmart to freshen them up, brush their teeth, and then get them to school, because without fail, she had to get them to school. So she, comes to Turning Points right away. Our case managers meet with her, get her into some kind of temporary housing, and to get her into more sustainable housing. And they were able to enroll her in a work-study program with Manatee Technical College, so that she is working and she's learning new skills while we're, trying to help her. So that's kind of, who we serve. We serve a lot of families. We serve a lot of individuals. 43% of our population in Manatee County is at risk of homelessness. That's a large number. That's almost half. Because 13% live in poverty, another 30% are at risk of homelessness. And it's that big at risk of homelessness, and that's who we try to help. And we do that through several programs. One program is our Veterans Program. So that is the Yellow Ribbon Program, and that's where we partner with many people with Goodwill. We have case managers that meet with veterans and their families on housing, childcare, transportation. This past year, we were able to specifically help 90 families, help them get on a better way toward a better life. It's that turning point, when they come in here, that's what it is, a turning point to a better life. We have another program, is our Transitional Development Program, and that's where we help people who are at risk. It's people that are working full time, but they're making a minimum wage.
Underemployed.
Yeah, they're underemployed. So what's happening, their car breaks down. And they don't have anyone to turn to for help, and they are just making enough to pay all the bills. That car is a $800 car repair bill. They're able to come in and we can help them. Our case managers meet with them, because if they pay that car bill, they can't pay their rent. If they don't pay their car bill, they can't get to their job. So it's just a circle. So we try to help them there. We have a basic needs program. It's called the Open Door, and this is where we have showers. We have 3 hot showers. People could come every day to use these showers. We have laundry services. They could drop off their clothing to get laundered. We have a barbershop, so people can get, a nice haircut, feel better about themselves, or get ready to go to that job interview. We have a clothing closet, and we have a job connections office, and that's another place where we partner with Goodwill.
Yes, we have our staff there. We do.
Yes, so they work with our volunteers, and they meet with several hundred people a month, just working with people and making resumes or job interviews. And then one more program I have to talk about.
Okay.
We have our medical and dental clinic. So we have free services to the uninsured, and that's medical and dental. So it's pretty amazing. We have a lot of volunteers. We can't do this without our volunteers. So
Volunteers and
partnerships.
funding.
Yes.
So let's talk about the events that are coming up.
Sure. We have one that anyone can participate in. It's called Walk a Mile in Their Shoes, and it is on April 16th at South Coquina Beach. And it's a fun event for the whole family. It's a 1 mile fun walk on the beach, but then there's kids activities, there's a rock climbing wall, there's food, we'll have local celebrities. It's just a good way to get the whole family involved. So April 16th, you could go to turningpointswalk.org to register.
Oh, that's fabulous. And then you have another event coming
Yes,
up.
on May 13th, we have Hats and Heels. Hats and Heels is a luncheon and fashion show, and that's going to be at the Polo Grill at 11:30. And for the fashion show, we're going to have Pink and Navy Boutique out of Anna Maria Island. We'll be putting on the fashions.
One of my favorites.
Oh, good.
Yay.
So that'll be just fun, to get together and to really raise awareness for homeless families, homeless children, or homeless individuals in our community.
Oh, that's fabulous. And I hope everyone who is watching will support Turning Points
Absolutely.
and Goodwill and go out and support Greg Stuebe on his next adventure. Because this was a very exciting show, because we talked about the good that is happening in our community and the change agents here at this table that are improving the quality of life in our community. So again, keep on sending in letters, letting us know what you want to hear, and introducing us to new and wonderful opportunities for everybody. So again, Turning Points is having 2 great events. Go to turningpoints.org for the general information, and then turningpointswalk.org.
It's actually tpmanatee.org.
TP. Okay.
Sorry.
Anyway, just
tpmanatee.org or turningpointswalk.org.
thank you.
Sorry.
Okay, we're good. We're good. And then experiencegoodwill.org and elect GregStuebe.com. That was easy enough. What should I do? GregStuebe.com.
Yes, you should.
Anyway, I hope that everybody enjoyed this. Did you enjoy it?
Yes.
And that you're going to go out
Fantastic.
and shop and support Goodwill?
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Every weekend.
Every weekend.
That's right.
Thank you, Jennifer Stuebe, for making
Yeah,
sure
there
that
you
he
go.
goes out. And did she, by the way, dress you for today?
No, this isn't. It's harder for me to find stuff at Goodwill than her.
But did she pick it out?
No.
We heard she did that.
I do it for Jeremy. I lay everything out. I'm like, that isn't what I picked. Get back in there.
I do that for my son. I'm not going to lie. He's 13.
Oh, too funny. Anyway, again, I hope you enjoyed the show and that you'll join us next week on Goodwill, Minnesota's Good News. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.